Okay, guys, let's see how this is going to work. All right, join me. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal, and the Peru live stream has just started. Yeah, let's see how this works.
And the alloys, oh, the video is already there. The way in which they are put into the body, these plates, in the bodies of these beings, biologically speaking, is very complicated to understand. This is something. These are some waterways that are very important archaeologically. We do not know if it's the only one or if it's some of the diatomy um, mines where the bodies were found. They are microscopic organisms that are fossilized, with which these bodies were covered because it have desiccating properties.
It
So
looks like they're
it's
just
very
talking about
possible
finding the
that,
bodies and
and it
stuff like that.
avoids insects from approaching the
At
bodies,
least it's in English.
and they didn't know. Well,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
knows?
no
This
jacket
is
at the moment,
2002,
guys.
and the extraordinary is that
It's too early in the day for
the things
jackets.
that I
Also, if
know,
I have to wear this for
even
hours,
though they're not actually mummies, but because they are desiccated bodies, they are the only mummies that have been found that are preserved in this way, because the other ones, the inner organs are put out so that you can conserve them. And just because of this, this is a very unique way because of the way the bodies were preserved. Very different from the Egyptian mummies or the very proper Peruvian
that's
mummies.
right,
They are
Fat Tony.
different.
We've got
These
bodies.
ones have three
We've got
fingers.
bodies.
Imagine that a being that you just
Yeah,
see
no,
a
they
being
haven't shown the
alive
real
with
cave or
three
citadel,
fingers,
sadly.
three
The
centimeters
Tomb
of
Raiders
each.
led these
They
scientists
are
to a
giant.
fake cave they
Imagine
claimed was
if
the
they
real
should
cave, but it
they would be
wasn't.
very big. This
So,
is
yeah,
one
as
of
far as we know, the
a lot of
scientists and the
questions in
doctors
it.
haven't been to the real
What is
cave.
this? Why three fingers? Are they
Here, I'll provide you a
manufactured?
link,
Well,
the one that I'm
back
using.
receiving images from Peru. They are still just they're still arriving.
Here's the link.
It's going to get some time, so we're still going to be commenting. But these are the images right straight from Peru. We have to mention that according to the program for
Swap
today,
the screens. What does that mean? Can you all not see it?
members are going to be present from the Minister of Culture from Peru.
Uh,
And I
Here,
think
maybe like that. There we go. How's that? Is that
something
better?
very important, a cornerstone, a point where they are opening their mind so that they can do their job, in the sense that they have to be open to research these bodies, of course, and they have to think about all of this. They have to see that this is the benefit of Peru itself. This is an extraordinary finding, so that it could be turned into like Egypt, so that
Yo.
see the museums with the pyramids.
All right, I'm not seeing any Congress people. I'm not seeing how this is at the Peruvian
A
Congress. This
chapter
is
that has been written in history, because we're talking about
pre-recorded stuff. People sitting
an
around
explanation.
uh, somewhere other than
It
Congress.
has been demonstrated that this is real.
Thought this was going to be at the Peruvian Congress.
These were biological beings that sometime walked in the earth, but who made them? It's not natural.
Hello, guys, but we've got bodies. Maybe this is just the warm-up act, and then we'll get to the actual hearing.
It's a big leap for science, for everything that we know. And the scientists,
I guess this part isn't in English.
not everyone, because there have been scientists that have seen this,
Yeah, so we had the dub version of the pre-recorded
but done
stuff.
it more recently.
So we'll see if we get the
Most of this
English version
has been
of
happening. This
other
happened, for
stuff.
example, in the United States.
Yeah,
Scientists
at the last time, or at least the one in Miami was, or excuse me, LA, it was kind of a disaster.
and that's why
It didn't start for 40 minutes, and then the English dubbing
discovery
was all
of
wrong.
equipment needed
It was very
to make
hit or
this.
miss.
This is our patrimony.
So
We
yeah,
have
I
to
like the stone decorations. Stone decorations are cool.
something very basic here.
Stone decorations are tight,
We are
and we got the little
starting
Nazca mummy
with
guys in
what is
there.
real. There is nothing about that these are not dolls. This was
Okay, I'm hearing some English, but it's very faint.
anatomical and was created by somebody.
Let me see if I can turn that up.
How did they interact with the ancient people of
No,
Nazca?
it's still very low volume. I need to get some
The
better mics or something.
cultures, the knowledge, and all the structures that were there, the structures that were created in the desert. Did they have any kind of relationship, any
Yeah, I mean, I think they're actually speaking English.
with
You
the
just can't hear it.
extraterrestrial beings?
Yeah, more of a press conference. But see, there's the actual Peru
Now,
guys, so we know there's actually a hearing. I guess it just hadn't started yet. We're just kind of in the warm up act. We're doing the foreplay. We're doing Nazca mummy foreplay, guys.
can you put some audio here so that
Okay, that sounds kind of gross. Okay, what's this guy saying? I don't know.
Hey, good morning. How's it going, everyone? This is Aslan. Just
so we're going to
giving a
take you
thanks
through in
for joining the stream for UAP files.
so you can understand what's happening.
Hey, Tim, how's it going? We are at the Peruvian Nazca hearing, um,
Prisons.
and we'll see how smooth this goes. So far, okay, this is supposed to be the English version of it. Yeah, no sounds, no sound. Yeah, I'm there with you. This is supposed to be the English version, but I'm looking for a different link.
Functioning, but he's
Let's
making
see if there's another
pictures
link.
of the attendees.
Uh, you can use the Google Translate app on a second device. And here with the English translation, is that different from?
Representative from my university.
Is that any different? That's the same thing, right? Yeah, that's the same thing.
Mr. Jaime Maussan.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing a better link yet. If you guys see a better link, shoot it to me.
I ask of you, please, that you accompany
We'll see. I'm looking on Jaime's page, on his YouTube page.
the people that are watching us. Could you present yourself for the people that are watching us?
Okay.
Muchas gracias, presidente. Primero, felicitar y agradecer a usted, colega congresista, presidente de la Comisión de Cultura y Patrimonio Cultural, Edgar Raimundo Mercado. Agradecer, como usted manifiesta.
Okay, that's clearly not the English version of it. Yeah, let's go back to the ostensibly English version. Let's see, where did it go? I didn't lose it, did I? Yeah, that's not English, not the English version. This is supposedly the English version,
For a lot of people, this is very
but there's no
and
audio on this one.
I want to show my respect for everyone here.
Yeah, this is going about as well as the last one did.
We also have to have this topic of citizenship, security. There are people that we have to establish as priority. Please turn up the volume because
Sound is very low, yeah.
some of them
Okay, yeah, this is rough, guys. This is rough. Let's see. Let's just talk, guys. Our No Style Dutch says, "What do you think of NDT declining an invite to see the mummies after talking trash about no one being invited to see them?" Yeah, man, that's a great question, right? Well, same thing with Gary Nolan. You know, why doesn't he study them? You know, he says, "Oh, well, he's not the specialist in that, but he studied the Atacama body, right? So why wouldn't he be qualified to study the Nazca bodies?" Yeah, I would love an answer to that. But yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, obviously he's not a biologist. You know, I can kind of see some excuse there. But yeah, you're going to talk trash about the bodies and then have an opportunity to study them, and you're not going to study them. You know, or coordinate with somebody, you know, direct some effort to study them. Yeah, totally agree, man. Totally, yeah, he didn't have to study them himself, but he can get some people to study them. Yeah, 100%. Sheila Tool says, "I'm sorry, there's another Jaime Masan live YouTube with English." Oh, thank goodness. Okay, all right, let's go to that one. I see one with Spanish. If you can provide the link to the English version, let's do it, Sheila. I'm looking on Jaime's channel. I'm not seeing the English version. Okay, there we go. Is that it? Here we go.
Antiquities that were found in Nazca
Thank you, Sheila.
being analyzed in another country. Why us as Peruvians could not open the doors so that this could be researched here as well? It's all about research, opening the doors for enabling that to happen. Which has been happening very few of it as of late here in Peru. So I have considered that at this moment the Commission of Culture have been obstacle once and once again, and that truthfully the last meeting that we had, we were able to establish a meeting in which we could hear this topic from a scientific point of view. And all of you are here to do that. But what I understand from all this is que and the North Zone is adapted with I've got overlapping audio. I apologize for the inconvenience.
Americana, que también se ha priorizado, y el Congreso ha tenido a bien de aprobar los proyectos de ley que he presentado.
Okay, it looks like they're working on the audio.
De una manera también deportiva, los bolivarianos, Ayacucho 2024, que está en plena ejecución. Pero la zona sur, que es Lucanas, Paucar del Sarazar, Parinacochas, Sucre.
Okay. All right, this is rough. This is rough. But at least they started on time, and there is some English.
Podemos hacer que estos seres pudieran tener un lugar donde exhibirlos, un museo. Entonces haríamos un corredor turístico que visite Ica, Nazca, las líneas de Nazca.
All right, DB Cooper has entered the chat. All right, guys, fix the English. All right, so far this is not very sexy, but come on, guys. Yeah, no, nothing interesting has happened so far, but we've got bodies, y'all.
And this is the goal that we have here to establish a jurisdiction precedent.
Thank you so much, Ian.
And it is there where the
That's awesome.
Culture Commission also, with our president, has also delivered this topic as an important path to follow, something important.
You rock, Ian.
Furthermore, Mr. President, I congratulate your president and the commission and every congressman that approved this public hearing, that we assume that they are granting the opportunity for the community of Ica that has the beings, so that a museum space of sorts can be generated that could generate
Stevie.
income to provide for these communities, which is good. This is very important. And starting from this point, it's going to be generated, the next information that we hear. Thanks a lot, Mr. President.
Oh, is the president there too? That's cool.
Now we proceed with Mr. Campos, representative of the University of Ica.
You haven't missed anything, Paulina.
I now give you the word to speak. Good morning, Mr. President, Congressmen,
Is that the president?
representatives of the government. I come as a representative
Good one,
of the
T.
University San Luis Gonzaga forward to present a very controverted topic.
Well, probably not live Nazca mummies today, but you never know. The day has just begun. There are supposedly living beings that people see. We've heard that from multiple people. But I would love some of those witnesses to come forward, right?
From another
And
part,
if people are seeing beings coming and going from caves,
researchers,
come forward, tell us
public
about
in
it.
general,
Snap
for
a
this
picture.
public hearing that is going to be
No problem, Dave.
important to generate the possibility to analyze these bodies in the establishments of the Ica University. And they have a lot of resources to establish another instrument of knowledge. People,
Ginga.
the University of Ica finds
I'll let you know if I find it, Style Dutch.
inside of the normativity that there is one law of university, which to us, it
Thank you, Thea. I
makes
appreciate that.
us that we establish research.
Okay, so far this is pretty dry.
0.05% of
Sex it up a little bit, guys. Come on.
for all of that by ourselves.
We've got alien
It's
bodies,
a very important problem that
hybrid
we're feeling.
bodies, whatever they are.
Because of that, I also come to express my discomfort with the situation. In the name of the whole university, allow me to express that the position of the university
We need to go to Peru and look for some caves.
before this very controversial situation is to find the truth. To us,
Hell, we've got caves here, guys. I mean, we've got like Kentucky, the Kentucky goblins, all that kind of stuff. Have y'all seen that show Hellier? Really good show.
Establish this in a different way.
It makes you wonder about caves and stuff coming and going
Following the
from caves.
guidelines that our university follows. But we also have to make laws.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why isn't Bob Bigelow financing excursions
so
into Peruvian caves or whatever, right?
But fundamentally, for scientific.
What was that story the other day in Mexico? The subterranean cavern system, was that in Mexico? The underworld.
And now we don't have any signal.
Pequeña dificultad técnica, Guillermo, pero bueno, las palabras de...
Oh yeah, that was loud. Woke me up though. Yeah, the face peelers in Peru. What the hell? Yeah, I was watching George Knapp's new show. What's it called? Alien Target or we're still... All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was watching the George Knapp's new show, and they were talking about the Colares case. And yeah, I'm deaf too. That was pretty loud. And so George goes down to Colares, and he finds out that there is still activity there, seemingly at least decades after the original Colares case in the 70s. There was one woman that was targeted as an adult that was a child during the Colares case. So it was going on decades later. And of course, we've got the face peelers in Peru and Brazil. That is a current thing, or at least a recent thing. I haven't heard of any new reports of face peelings, but that's very recent. Is that related to the Colares stuff from the 70s? Yeah. What is going on in Peru? They've got such a range of stuff. They've got the light stuff, they've got the dark stuff. It's a funky place, man. The phenomenon there is so funky. Is Bigelow still alive? Yeah, Bob Bigelow's still alive. Seems like he knows a lot. No one ever bothered to ask him if he wants to talk. Well, he's talked before. He's been on like Jeffrey Mishlove and had hours long conversation with Jeffrey Mishlove. Great conversations, by the way. Thee says at least it wasn't super fucking loud. You're right. Catherine says Gary Nolan talked on Disclosure Team podcast yesterday and expressed some thoughts on the mummies yesterday. Did he really? Okay, well, what did Gary Nolan have to say about the mummies? Does he have any updated thoughts? Halb says, I wonder what the descendant of these things look like now. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we might have an answer to that in the Siberian mummy, right? Or the Siberian body. It wasn't mummified, just found frozen and dead in the snow. Which looks an awful lot like the little guys of the Nazca mummies, even with the 3 holes on the side of its face. Is that a Nazca being in Siberia? And what's up with Alyoshinka and the Atacama mummy and the various other little bodies that have been found recently? Some of them still living, like Alyoshinka when they were alive, and the Siberian body was freshly dead. So there seems to be an ongoing presence of little non-humans running around the place. And reports from people in Mexico and South America that see these little guys coming and going from caves. I would love for some of those witnesses to come forward and talk about what they have seen, but we seem to always hear about this stuff secondhand. So, maybe it's just so common to them or so normal to them, they don't even think it's worth mentioning, or they're going about their lives. All right, let's see if we have sound now.
Oh, it's a recess. They are in a recess.
We're all great. We're in a recess. We just started and we're in a recess. Okay. All right. Well, all right, let's talk, guys. DB Cooper says the Nazca lines was always on my bucket list. Absolutely. Yeah, and I saw a remote viewing of the people creating the Nazca lines, and they were seeing that the builders or creators of the Nazca lines were being influenced, being directed to do that by some outside power. I don't know if they were like being, controlled or something, but there was some, alien influence or something going on there. So, other dimensional spiritual influence, whatever was, apparently, according to that remote viewer, directing them in the creation of the Nazca lines. And the Citadel apparently is not that far within maybe sight of the Nazca lines. So definitely a connection there, I think, between the Nazca beings and the Nazca lines. Yeah, Sheila says, Grant, hi strangers. Speaking of caves, I went to Rock Cave yesterday. Oh, cool. About 5 miles from my Tic Tac sighting, and I found something you will find interesting. I sent you a pic. Me or Grant or Grant. Sounds really cool. Let's see. Yeah, the Nazca lines are really intriguing, especially because they're finding these geoglyphs, not just in Nazca, but they've been found all over the world. There's geoglyphs in North America that are similar to the Nazca lines. There's other things in Europe and Asia that are, shockingly similar to the Nazca lines. Some of them aren't that old as the Nazca lines, but some of them seem to be. They're hard to date, but they're thousands of years old. Global geoglyphs, global presence of these small little aliens. Obviously, rock art and the native art from around the world. The Aboriginals in Australia seeming to depict similar beings, just all over the world. Now, there's the global presence of these beings. Are they all the same beings? Hard to know, but when you see geoglyphs around the world, and if the Nazca lines are linked to the Nazca beings or some beings, you would think it would be the same set of beings that the other, geoglyphs are linked to as well. And then you see the same types of beings pop up in native art time and time again. You would think that, again, that's the same set of beings working with people or living alongside people. According to that researcher that I did the interview with, David, oh my God, I'm blanking on his last name, but, he was finding in his research that the Nazca beings were interbreeding with the humans, which seems so weird, seems so unlikely, but hey, if we can interbreed with Neanderthals, but that's a species of human. But I guess if Maria and the other human-sized ones have human genetics, maybe it's possible, but of course they have they're creating hybrids. I mean, the abducting alien race are creating hybrids with beings that don't look like us, particularly. So, I guess these guys have fancy technology, and we know that the Nazca beings did have fancy technology because they have the implants that, according to some of the research that I've seen, are still giving off energy, which is nuts. The implants of the Nazca beings still giving off some form of energy. What is up with that? What are these things doing? But yeah, the implants that the Nazca beings have, to me, seem like a clear connection to the abducting alien race or races. Now, let's see. What are you guys saying? Sheila says, can't wait to see Nap's new Netflix. Yeah. No, so far, it's a good series. I mean, the only new thing that I've seen so far, George Knapp series, is the bit about how the Colares interactions might still be ongoing. And also, he points out that the harm that was caused to the people back in the 70s during those incidents may not have been deliberate. The UFOs were, shooting them with beams, and, I don't know if they were sucking them of blood or not, but they were coming down with anemic symptoms. And some of them were dying, apparently. But George points out that may not have been deliberate, that the UFOs were doing something, maybe taking tests or something and the harm that was done to the people were accidental. Of course, if the beings didn't care whether the people were harmed or not, I'm not sure if that is really like making me feel a lot better, but let's see. But so far it's a good show. They start off talking about cattle mutilations, which are a fascinating, crazy, creepy part of the phenomenon. And he also talks about how the FBI seems to be covering this up, or at least he hints at that, which is my own experience as well. Locally, my UFO group, formerly a MUFON group, yeah, I'm actually the director of it this year. There was a rash of cattle mutilations in our area in Madison County, very nearby along OSR Road, which I've been on many times, very close to me. And all along OSR, there were these cattle mutilations. In the press, they only reported 6 or 7 cattle mutilations, but according to the ranchers and the people in the area that we were talking to, there were over 40 cattle mutilations, all within a few months of each other. The FBI came in and shut everybody up. Just a total standstill on the investigation. Threatened or whatever happened. For whatever reason, all the ranchers clammed up. Nobody wanted to talk. We still to this day don't know what specific ranches were affected. We only know secondhand from the people that know them and that are telling us what was going on there. And we've talked to some of the veterinarians and stuff that examined the cow bodies. But the FBI came in and shut everybody up. The FBI has been, I don't know if they're complicit in that, in the cattle mutilations, but they are at least covering it up and suppressing information. All right, let's see what this is. Looks like pre-recorded, but
Speak now. We are getting back. At any moment, we're going to get back to the Congress. There they are. I am not receiving audio from the source. We are not receiving audio from the source.
Okay, no audio. Adman says, "Hey Jack, Jon Stewart's alien interview just got remote viewed. I'm not going to like the results." What do you mean by that, Adman? Because I was watching the remote viewing. In fact, I've got to cover it soon. And it seems like the remote viewers were validating that it was a genuine crash retrieval and alien bodies were recovered. It seems
the
like
transmission is being repeated.
Seems like the remote viewing totally validates the alien interview. All of it's, sad. Maybe that's what you mean by me not liking the results. But it looks like that alien interview video that Jon Stewart has researched and popularized to some extent has been validated. And that is a real video of a real being in distress that we are watching in the video. So, so let me know what you mean by that, Adman, about me not liking the results.
You just presented him emotion. This is effectively a repetition of what happened earlier.
Let's see. DB Cooper says, "I feel they are going to leave us hanging either way." Well, at least it means the Peruvian Congress is taking this more seriously, and they're not going to be satisfied by the Ministry of Culture, dismissing this as hoaxes, as dolls, right? That's what they were trying to do, completely suppress and discredit this phenomenon or these bodies. So if nothing else, they're taking it more seriously. And I think we can expect more stuff to come from this because of this hearing. Is that Jaime there? I see a white head. Is that Josh McDowell?
Well, there's little technical issues. We will return in a moment to the Congress.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that. What are you guys saying? Let's see. You're not late. Nothing really exciting or sexy has happened so far. Aichinger says Gary talked about the importance of public science instead of relying on official announcements. Yeah, absolutely. The government has been covering this stuff up forever. Like I just talked about, the FBI is covering up cattle mutilations and suppressing information and knowledge about cattle mutilations. Yeah, we can't rely on the government. Citizen science all the way. Ultimately, we do need some official government disclosure because we need oversight of the UFO control group. You know, they are shooting down UFOs. They're working with beings. They're assisting in abductions. You know, they need oversight. We don't know if they're doing the right thing or not. You know, we can hope they're doing the right thing, but they're assassinating people. You know, they're brainwashing the public for many decades. We can't trust the UFO control group to be on the side of the angels. They need oversight. So we do need ultimately official disclosure and oversight of those programs. But yeah, citizen science all the way. We need to push this stuff forward. We can't rely or wait for official channels. So yeah, good point there, Aichinger and Gary. Sunko says on the George Knapp Netflix documentary, there is a clear video of an orb hovering above the sea and then I can't talk. It's too early. I can barely talk anyway. And then effortlessly descending into it. Investigation Alien. Yeah, is that the one that's been shared before where the orb, I was thinking it was off one of the battle carrier groups or the fleets at sea, where you can see this transmedium object just kind of slowly descending into the sea. And apparently that was part of a swarm of orbs that was swarming around these battleships. Is that the same footage?
Peru. This is not a small thing. So believe me, and we're here in the studio precisely to continue and to share with you this information. There's a lot of images. We can show you some of the images that we have here of this great discovery, because I think that, well, in any moment we will link to Peru, but just be patient, because at any moment they're going to say, just go, Peru's here. And literally at the light of speed, they're going to send us here. But we are still here with you.
All right, so I guess we're still waiting on the audio or something. Yeah. All right. Trevor says, wasn't there hieroglyphics found next to the mummies found that are from another region across the globe? Just another layer to the mystery. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we don't have corroboration on with the mummies. Yeah, where there's writing, there's that golden pyramid with writing on it. There's other writings. There's other strange artifacts that don't seem to be Mexican or South American, that seem possibly European. There's all sorts of weirdness with the Nazca mummies, including the crazy videos about the people fighting mantis beings. Hey, Tim. And, you know, the living beings that may have been found in the Nazca caves or the citadel, the lab, you know, whatever we were calling the site where the Nazca mummies are found, or sites. Because I think one of the bodies may have been found in Mexico, one of the winged bodies. Oh, here we go, Dr. McDowell.
We do not have audio. The exams made by our team of forensic scientists, they were extremely limited, and we do not have signal again. They tried to do procedures that weren't invasive or destructive. Trials that were destructive, and we don't have signal anymore.
Well, it is what it is.
And the signal ended.
What?
So cut back to the table.
Okay. All right. Hey, it's going better than the one in LA. It's going better than the one in LA. That was delayed for 40 minutes and then it was all messed up. Oh, gosh. All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying? DB Cooper says John P. Adventures. Okay. Well, John P. I missed that one. But yeah, Trevor, we need to know more about those hieroglyphics. We need to know more about those artifacts that were found at the Citadel, supposedly, because there's some juicy stuff that was found there, supposedly. but we don't have any corroboration on that. We don't know who is in possession of those artifacts. I mean, we have, the pictures of the bodies with armor and clothes on and headdresses. Apparently, I think it was Maria or was it Montserrat that came with a headdress or crown or, a tiara, whatever that was. Where is that thing? Where are these pieces of armor or clothing or ornaments? Where's the writing? Where's the golden pyramid? Is that thing real? There's so many questions we need answers to. I can't wait to find out the answers to those questions.
No. It's being loaded. We have images. We have images, but not audio.
All right. Well, I'll get back to that in a second. So frustrating, but yeah, part of the problem is, all of this was brought about by tomb raiders, and they have not revealed the location of the site for obvious reasons. They don't want it, taken over by the Ministry of Culture or by the authorities, so they want to continue looting it, and they don't want other tomb raiders to find it. It is what it is. It's frustrating, though. No English yet. No audio. I mean, Dr. McDowell speaks English. Okay. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying. Steph says, I'm so sick and tired of all this being covered up still. Yeah. I pray to God Trump can make an impact with getting this stuff released to the public. Well, absolutely. I hope the president, whoever he or she is, at any point now or in the future, releases this information. Trump did release some of the JFK files, and he says he's going to release some of the UFO stuff. So, fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. The Night Gazer says started, but they're taking a break after 1 hour of hard work. Yeah, well, you got to break every hour in the government. Adam says, Jack, love the show, enjoying your live. P.S. I think if you turn on closed captions, it will translate the Spanish to English automatically. I've tried to do that. It didn't want to work. And we have this English version of it. See, I don't know if it can translate live. At least it wasn't doing it when I tried to do it. But good idea. In English yet? No audio. No audio. Very frustrating. Let's see. Contigo says those witnesses on the new hearing are disappointing. Where are the firsthand witnesses? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe they'll surprise us. I'm hoping they will surprise us with the UFO hearing coming up on the 13th. That maybe indeed they've been keeping some under wraps, some of the names under wraps, so that they weren't, intimidated or scared away. And maybe, who knows? Dr. Frankenstein of UFOs will appear on the stand on the 13th. Totally possible. Totally possible. Halbum says, Achinger says, Pavel here or streaming himself. Yeah, I heard Pavel was trying to stream, and I hope he's having a good experience with that. I haven't communicated with him. Still no good audio. Frustrating. Yeah, Trevor says the implants are the smoking gun all by themselves. Never mind, they are osmium, which is wild all by itself. Yeah, right? Yeah, we didn't have osmium until fairly recently in human history. And they had them 1,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Crazy, right? Crazy. Halbum says if they were interbreeding with us, then I think that says a lot more about us than it does them. Yeah, right? I mean, with all due respect to the Nazca mummies, I mean, how hard up do you have to be, right? I mean, it is what it is. Adman, no style that says, Adman, where's the remote viewing of the alien interview? I heard Dolan mention that was going to happen. Yeah, let me see if I can link to that for you guys. If you haven't seen there you go. Okay, I will link to the remote viewing of the alien interview. Here you go, guys. Okay, there you go. So yeah, I just posted the remote viewing of the alien interview popularized by Jon Stewart. We still have no audio. Okay. Shelly says, "Hi Jack. The reason I went, I've heard over the years, military have been seen in and out of that area. I noticed an old airstrip on Google Earth. Got down there, an area posted permission only. Yeah, not surprising, right? Well, be careful going into secret places. But good on you for doing that." Katkins says, "Hi everyone. Hey Katkins. Let's see. Yeah, but I think the Trevor, you're right. I think the implants are a smoking gun. There is a clear connection to the abducting race or races. These implants are, obviously not created by any human culture or technology that we're familiar with, since they were using osmium thousands of years ago." All right. Dang, this is frustrating. Okay. Dan Larev says, "Hello, Shelly." DB Cooper says, "Implants are definitely interesting." Yeah, Trevor says, "Trump says he doesn't believe already." Yeah, Trump has said different things at different times. He says he's not a UFO guy, but he takes the pilots that have seen the UFOs seriously, and he says he needs to release UFO files. So we'll see.
Of Peru. He studied chemistry. He is in charge of the area of research and development and toxicological control. He also was in charge of a area of pharmacology in the institute. In consequence, we are now going to give the word to him, to our friend. Welcome. You have now the word. You can now speak. Well, now with everyone here, firstly, I want to clarify some terms and some points from the table. Firstly, there are a lot of procedures that has been done in these desiccated bodies. They have done X-rays, tomographies, etc. Right? The X-rays is a kind of energy that responds to the electromagnetic spectrum. It has different levels of energy: alpha, beta, gamma, X-rays, ultraviolet, microwaves, radio frequencies, and each one of them has a different level of energy, and this kind of energy interacts with the matter, and the matter has it reacts to this reaction, a very specific reaction. And subjectively, because of acquired, with something that is red, because of the knowledge that we have, we say it's red. But objectively, if it's red, it has uh, to be analyzed to a photometric analysis so that we can actually determine it's red. Not just because we see it's red, we need to prove it's red. That's the objective way to demonstrate that it's red. Now, X-rays, what they do is the analysis of these bodies. These tomographies is a kind of X-rays, but they make a lot of cuts through this body, and we can see some images depending of the density, and we can observe a form. So imagine if I had this bottle. They are not going to give me
What do you say?
it's going to give me the shape of the bottle, but that's it. So we're going to see the form of the heart. We can see the shape of the organs, and we can see if there is any damage to any tissue, to an artery, to a vein, any kind of malformation. So that's for the living tissue. But for a desiccated body, what we can only see is the bones, the skin, or what is desiccated. We cannot see that. We cannot see if there was a blood vessel, if there is a brain, if there is a bladder, because it's a desiccated body. Now, when we see the X-rays, and it gives me the image of a bottle. So here you can observe that yes, it's a bottle because of the shape. But what is going to tell me if it's actually a bottle? The even further, it's an molecular analysis. Yes, because it's a plastic. There's high density plastics and low density plastics, for example. From low density, we can see they are transparent, and the molecular structure of this plastic and what defines it as plastic, it exists a very specific kind of analysis that analyzes this matter in a way that it emits a signal of its chemical structure. The plastic is a polymer of consecutive chains of molecules that are unified with different links, with double links, and it sends a signal, or there is a response to the action of the energy, and that is how that we can know that this polymer of a lot of carbons, and therefore we can say that it is a plastic, and even more if it's a plastic of high or low of high or low density. And this molecular analysis tells me that it is effectively a plastic objectively. But if it was an X-ray, we can only see that we can only see the shape, but we cannot tell it's actually plastic. We can only see the shape, and that cannot be defined by an
I'm
X-ray.
not sure what
So
his
for the
point is
base of
here.
this, the bone tissues, they are actually bones probably, and they're probably very ancient because of the carbon 14 trials. But we need to see the composition of these bodies, the tissues that form superficially these bodies. These were the first bodies, desiccated bodies that I got my hands on in 2017. So the first one. Look what they say, right? The infrared spectrum.
Okay, yeah, they got to sex this up a little bit, guys. I mean, juggle or something. I don't know. Yeah. He is talking a lot about technical stuff and plastics, and yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, this may not have been the best approach here. We've got bodies of non-humans. We don't need to be talking about how you know something's plastic or not. No, I mean, if you thought that was really interesting, I'll turn the audio back on. But I think our conversation is just as interesting, or maybe slightly more interesting. But yeah, let's see. You like the technical stuff, Night Gazer? You want me to turn that back on? I'll turn it back on if y'all like the technical stuff. Well, what do you think, guys? I'm taking a poll. Let's see. No Style Dutch says, so then the best case scenario is are they constructed beings like the Greys might be? Yeah, I think they are. I mean, my take on the Nazca beings is they are created beings. They are hybridized or, artificially created beings. That's why they're all tridactyls, even though they're different sizes and shapes, clearly the same author or creator. But they didn't, some of them were egg-laying. Some of them would give birth to living beings. So clearly they didn't derive from the same, common ancestor or something like that. They're not naturally created beings. Yeah, let's see. Surreal says, we got Peruvian aliens, y'all. Bro, play the damn video. Okay, all right. I'll play the damn video.
Is used to cover the assay tubes, and this was designed, this compounds. Next we have a hand. Yes, this one was sent this year. This is a body that was analyzed by these tests. If you see there, like this supposedly skin, and you can see that the results are polypropylene. And you can go forward to the next image, please. We can also see more glue comes up in the results. The next one. What happens here is that the infrared spectrum compares what it has in the library, which is like a dictionary of a lot of pages that, for example, the answer of this is already recorded here. The answer of this response is already stored here, and the answer that is being presented, the results that are being presented, are compared with this library. And that's why, if you can see this and see what is probably, if it has a high level of coincidence, it's probably it. To the next one, please. There, you can also see rubber. The next one, something that caught my attention: cellulose, cotton, and in the next image, the next one, you can
Why are they
see
showing us the images?
where it says fraction 7 between the joints in this finger. There is a piece of cotton.
Is this the Ministry of Culture guy?
That is what forming that structure. And look at there, you can clearly see, and in the infrared spectrum analysis tells me that it's cotton, and cotton is, well, cotton. It's a
Are they
cotton
talking about the
fiber,
dolls?
right? So subjectively, I can see it, and you can see, yes, that is a fiber, and the spectrum that is objectively telling me is that, yes, that's a cotton, because the infrared spectrum analysis tells me that it's cotton. It's an objective way of telling if it's cotton. The next one, for example, as you can see, it is vinyl, so polymers. These were mixes of different things. You can see more plastics and cotton. The next one, it also indicates us that it's more glue, that it has been adhered to the bone. You can also see an image there. What I just said was about the hand. These are the bodies, right? That
Okay.
were received by.
All right, I believe that is one of the fakes or the dolls, one of the constructs. Those aren't the real bodies, if I'm remembering correctly. So why are they wasting our time on that one?
And it's the same, right? To the next one, please.
Because there were ancient dolls and constructs that were found along with the real bodies, as if they had dolls or something that of beings that look like them, in the same way that we have dolls that look like humans, right?
It's a chemical component, principally made by oxides, that they use when a crime is.
So this guy seems like he may be a Ministry of Culture guy that's trying to spread disinformation and trying to paint them all as dolls or bodies, or dolls or constructs. Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. Is he talking just about the implants? What's he talking about?
As much. So this is a way to desiccate them and maintain them in case of this. So this has been adhered with this component. The next one, you can also observe below, this is also a cotton. This is a fiber, and the results say cotton. This is they also the results are also plastics, polymers, and so like the other ones. What we can also observe in the spectrum, it also says rubber, right? Rubber and also polyester. So this
You might be
skin
right,
has been
Jackins.
adhered with glue and rubber to the surface of the bones. We can also observe the same resin, it says, right? Glue. In the next one, it also, the results are also rubber and glue. And in the next one, another one, there, this is the skull, the side part of it, right? It had been adhered with glue because we can observe internally that we found that it was that it had glue. And in the next one, please. It had some adherences of metallic appearance, and what was made was to take off what was adhered
I'm
between
guessing
that
this is the
fraction
Ministry of Culture guy
of the
spreading
body,
disinformation,
right? That adherence was analyzed, and it was rubber.
or
It
showing
was
real
adhered with
information in a
rubber.
way that makes it look fake.
And lastly,
Because there
this is the
were
last one,
dolls, there were ancient
and a
dolls
lot
and
have speaked
constructs
and have found,
found
and they
along with
have
the actual
commented
bodies.
that one of the bodies had some eggs, maybe some supposedly eggs. This is in the image. I have taken that egg and look what they are. It's calcium carbonate. All of it is calcium carbonate. Is calcium carbonate. That's what the test shows. Now, there can't be an image of higher density than the bones, because if this it cannot be that this structure has more density than the bones, because it comes from it to form what could be the
Timmy's
eggshell
there.
of an egg, but everything is formed from calcium carbonate, right? So this is everything that we can see in the infrared analysis of the surface of these bone tissues, and what they said that apparently was an egg. So there can't be anything that is fossilized and another one that is desiccated. They're different things. It cannot be. So that the things they are ancient, they are ancient. That does not. It is not my place to say if it is or not. But we can say that everything has been adhered to the tissues. It has been repeated. This has been a repeated behavior from the tests that we have held from 2017 to 2024. The tests have been the same: rubber, glue, and polymers.
Okay,
Thanks.
the man in black has spoken. Now let's get to the real science.
Thanks a lot. Humberto Alvarez. We continue, and José de Jesús Salcedo, José de Jesús Salce Benítez, who is a plastic surgeon in Mexico, chief of the sector of the Navy surgical department. Welcome, Mr. Salce. You can have the word. Thanks a lot. Good morning, Congressman of Peru and representatives of the
Me too,
citizenship.
Sheila.
With your permission, I am here before you voluntarily and personally.
Jackins is right. They lost the audio on
I also
the actual
omitted
evidence.
the welcome of the congressman next to me. That said, you can continue now.
He's good
Thanks. With your permission, I am here voluntarily and personally, integrally and neutrally, with respect and humility, to expose again the studies, the analysis, and the results of the investigation that for more than 7 years have been held with the stratotrial bodies, perfectly preserved by the process of desiccation and dehydration from the dirt of diatomy that covers them,
Yes, yes, Fever. This is
that
live.
avoided their putrefaction and enabled their discovery in Peru. Here we need to say that they are desiccated bodies, not desiccated, not not dissected, desiccated, not dissected. So to be able to, so we need to make the analysis and the tests that are considered like the target of study, not over some that are distinct or different from um, the original site that has been marketed in a way that causes disinformation in the population. The studies that I make now are in base of different techniques of common sense in forensic sciences and cutting edge technologies like equipment of X-ray tomographies of 64 to 128 cuts that allowed us to have images of 3D reconstructions and great zooms to millimetric levels to the interior of these bodies. We also made use of fluoroscopy equipments that enabled us to see the harmony and continuity of the bone structures of all of these beings. We also made histological studies of tissues and massive sequenciation of DNA and in the interpretation that throw results that exceed the what we know of biology and nature specific for this new species before that were unknown before. We were also able to have the implants that were in their skin or inside of them that didn't have any kind of inflammation or anything like that in their bodies. So they did analysis in spectrophotochrometry that through results in the results it threw us that it was high density metals like osmium and also silver 5% of purity. We also made carbon 14 tests to guarantee the age of all of these bodies, and through all of these tests we are now here today. As you can see, they are bodies that have a very harmonious bone structure with joints that because of their functionality we can prove that at some point they had life and movement, just as we can see the existence of different organs and that enabled the metabolic functionality of this species. I also had the opportunity to analyze more than 10 bodies that were small, that in average they were
Hey,
60
Tim G Star.
centimeters of height, and they had interesting things that made them unique, like their elongated skull that had a large capacity of cerebral matter and that has some that is very different to a lot of compared species, and it enabled their probable elongation to facilitate their movement, just as a different species of turtles. In the thorax, we can see that the ribs are continuous from extreme to extreme in their point of union in every vertebrae, and they are completely horizontal. In their abdomen, we can see structures, ovoidal structures or eggs from different, so that different shapes and sizes, so that we can say she was pregnant. And we could also see embryonary structures, so that we could also make of it that they were living things. The most clear evidence is from their extremities that were formed by long bones in their interior. They are hollow, but they are divided by different tissues that make them light. We do not have audio anymore.
Come on, audio. You can do it.
We are not receiving audio.
I have faith in you, audio. I know you can do it. Just when we get to the actual science, the actually interesting part, the whole point of this whole thing, we lost Dr. McDowell. Then the audio was just fine for the disinfo guy, and now they've lost the audio again for the actual science. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. News all says get DNA from the egg and do Jurassic Park on it. They should. They should. I don't think the DNA is that good, but yeah, they haven't been able to make a whole sequence yet. They just get parts of it, at least for a couple of them. I don't know about the little guys, the eggs. That'd be awesome if they could do that, though. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, this is being hacked. Contigo says this is not great.
Still no audio.
Come on. The real science, and we don't get the audio for. This is such BS. Well, for the Ministry of Culture guy.
Investigaciones científicas de alto nivel con equipos de última generación.
With equipment of cutting edge equipment, the results are surprising. I mean, this is the scientific fundaments surrounding the pterodactyl beings of Nazca. So to try to say they are fake, they would have to make studies at the same level. So here we can see the famous hands of 45 centimeters, 30 centimeters, just from the fingers. And they have more bones than human hands. We are seeing the famous body of Maria. We can see the bones, the teeth. These images are extraordinary. As it was mentioned, these tomographies were done three-dimensionally. They are cutting-edge equipment, and we can see very clearly, without being experts, that they are organic bodies. They are beings that were once alive.
Amazing.
Which we think they walked in the earth in Ica and Palpa some 1700 years ago. For example, here we can see the digits of Maria, which are different from all of those that we know here in the earth, which are in spiral, and these beings have them horizontally, which are more similar to the reptile digits. Here we can see Santiago, which is another one of the pterodactyl beings. Dr. Salce, well, he commented me that for him, this is an infant, a child, because he has still the temporary teeth, and most probably he is a child, and because of the separation in the bones of the skull, because when we grow up, it's like those are welded together. But when one is very young, there is a separation between the bones of the skull. And now that you mention it, that you mentioned the teeth, Guillermo, I also remembered the studios, the research that was made in Ica, when the specialists in the area of odontology, they discovered that in the body of Maria, surprisingly, odontological work was made. So there were dentists almost 2,000 years ago.
Maria had a dentist. That's amazing.
The plates is also surprising, these metallic objects. And you can see immediately that they are real beings. How can you manufacture something like this without leaving a footprint behind? The specialists that have analyzed all of this, they say, like if I grabbed bones of other bodies and I tried to put them together, scars would be left behind and they would fall off eventually. I think we already have audio again. We go back to the Congress. Well, we are still seeing these bodies while Dr. Salce is speaking. Well, all of this is being recorded. all of this you will be able to listen to this at a later date.
Okay, so afterwards we might get the actual full English version. That's how it was last time.
Audio will come shortly. Signed by Luis Eduardo Carlos Molina from the Culture Ministry of Biology. In the same manner, the last report of image signaled with 13 of September of 2024, these bodies did not present any fracture or alterations of manufacture or mutilation artificially made, declaring them like natural. And I conclude the following. Firstly, we are in the presence of at least four different species of pterodactyl beings that should be incorporated in the taxonomy of the species, or at least be recognized as a parallel evolution of the one that is recognized today. It is important, its official recognition, so that we can research further in the international scientific community in an objective manner, and not use the ignorance and disinformation. Third, it is important to guarantee the conservation and preservation through different methodologies and investigations that are coherent to the present case and relevancy of these beings. Finally, I want to thank all of the people that have added their knowledge constructively. It has been a long way, with the participation of more than 50 scientists of different nations that have pushed aside their ego and have risked their professional prestige to research directly and personally, like it should be, and not from a distance, for what could be one of the most important findings of the history and evolution of mankind. I put myself
Come on, you can do
we
it.
have no signal again.
Well, that's how it is. I mean, they're doing the best they can. I'm sure. Sure, it's not the CIA hacking them. It could be the CIA hacking them. You never know. You never know. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Yeah, it was about the same last time. It's actually worse last time because there was a 40-minute delay. Okay, are we back to these guys? No, come on, guys. Come on.
I'm not receiving audio.
Hay mucha oposición, como ustedes lo vieron ahí.
All right, well, let's talk among ourselves for a moment. Yeah, that's an ominous place for the audio to mess up, right? Oh, gosh. You know what? I don't know if I would call it a shit show, but it's not great. The man in black got plenty of good mic time, but the actual scientists keep getting their audio messed up. I'd almost like to see a disinfo guy come back on to see if his audio remained good the whole time. And then we could compare and see if there really is interference. Yeah, we got CIA, y'all. We got CIA. It's possible, man. It's possible. Yeah, Jason, there is a suspicious amount of technical problems. There really are. Yeah, that's right. Smash the like. Yeah, I guess it's time for a channel break, right? This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I'm talking about UFOs and the paranormal and bodies, y'all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, all that kind of good stuff. And we are watching the Peruvian hearing, ostensibly, about the Nazca bodies, and we've got excellent scientists and people talking about them when their audio is working.
You heard that from John McDowell. Now we're about to go back and at the exposition of for the first time this year with the Minister of Culture.
Yeah, there's been some good science. Jack Volcani
has started
when you can hear it.
The tomographic evaluation and decided with us what we already did 7 years ago. So this is going to be good. Following. It's always good to be in the scene, and I mean with the bodies. I was there from the scene in 2001 when I was being formed as a forensic medic, and I have there 25 years lesson today. Now, here I am. Here I am with journalist Joyce, going through all the work plan after analyzing the bodies and that I'm going to analyze there. Why? Because when he's going to present me information, they already had 5 years of research. And that's how you work, with complete information,
You're right,
not
Gagan.
biased. And there was a lot of
Why they smashed the
research,
giant
a lot
bodies?
of reports, like from Russian people, from Americans, from a lot of people. There wasn't a single bias. And Professor Corco, he published a book back then, 7 years ago. The book was in $800. It's now $10, but
That's
the
nice.
experience he had with these bodies back then is not the one that we have now. Next. I cannot go forward. The one. So please, I will run out of time if you do not pass the slides. But when I saw the bodies, please turn on the audio. I don't know why it doesn't have audio, but I was in a TV program. This was after the first hearing of Mexico. They presented the bodies. I saw the tomographies. I participated virtually. I saw the tomographies. I've seen X-rays for 30 years, and in the TV program, they asked me if the bodies that I am seeing at that moment are authentic or not, based on that image. And I said, yes. Next. Next, because we lose time. Dr. Zuniga, who is unfortunately not here because of health issues, invited me. I said that we are in the scene of the research in the terrain. Next. Mummies does not have a radiography that we can observe. And if tomorrow are presented, well, then I eat a cockroach live and alive. That was the take that was that impressed me the most. Firstly, she didn't present herself the next day, where the radiography was presented. And I, as a Peruvian, I was embarrassed by what she said. What do you mean by eating a live cockroach with mayonnaise? It wasn't necessary. It was a serious. It was a serious interview. And well, she didn't, and I'm going to ask her to do it. She didn't eat it, but I want to show that she was very closed off. She didn't want to open herself to more possibilities, and she said all of this without seeing the bodies. She didn't. She said it without going to the University of Ica, without seeing more stuff.
927
she just said
here.
that because of the position she had. This is how we are. This is the condition of the scientists of the nation. The man to my right, which couldn't come here today, he is from France. He is the director of INCARI. We have worked with him, and with him it was the first time that the bodies were researched.
All right, let's get to the science, guys. Come on.
So that they could be known. Next. This is me explaining to Joyce, and behind me,
I don't know why we're taking time for
there's a
this.
lot of radiologists, because there's a lot of stuff that is very disruptive, and I was very used to seeing human bodies, to see only tridactyle bodies. It was surprising. And next, here is what Jose de Jesus Salce Benitez said, and I agree with him 100% with what he just said. I support him 100% to what he said in what preceded to what he just said. And he is here. This is what we are seeing. These digits, we have not taken them off, or we have not manipulated them. This is how they were, and we are not going to touch them at all. These digits, as you can see them, they do not follow a human pattern. Here I am collaborating with the journalist Joyce to work material to deliver to dozens of television studios in the planet. Next, this is me getting X-rays again to send them to different places.
I'm not going to wear the leather
from the
jacket
bodies.
for hours.
Next, including from what those that you call small, because there's a lot of types of small.
If it'll make you happy, I'll put the leather jacket on for a few minutes.
Here are some medics with information. They contacted me and sent a team of journalists for me to show them the images. And obviously, that's what I did. Next. These are those who presented themselves in Sheraton. And next. This is the first time that the images were shown, and the program that is being used is a common program. It's not an exact problem that nobody has. It's Radiant. The images are common.
I'm here now.
It's not
I wasn't
strange.
here before.
Radiologists
Now I'm
manage
here.
these images. Some software, some systems have are a little bit more sophisticated and can make better renders and deliver better results in 3D. But next one, please.
There you go.
Look,
There you go. Good idea.
In summary, what we call Maria and what the Minister of Culture said.
Good idea, Sheila.
It began the investigation and also the genetical study.
Leather pants. I need some leather
show
pants.
That it has segments of Y chromosome, so it's Mario instead of Maria. He's a male.
Thanks, Steve.
Josefina is part of these small bodies, authentic as well. Next. I'm not going to read this because I have to be quick, but Victoria,
Caps.
we call her Victoria
With a
because
butt
she doesn't
flap.
have
That's what I
a
need.
head. And it is from her that we got the vertebrae to get the complete sequenciation. And from Victoria, we presented the complete sequenciation
Thanks, Alexander.
of the genetic material from a Canadian laboratory. Albert is another pterodactyl, a similar pterodactyl. The following, please. Next one, please. Guaguita was something that we thought that was truthful, but it's not. She's not authentic because we have demonstrated, and obviously in the beginning we didn't see that, but she has been cut. Like you can see that the fingers were cut and were put together, and it's very small. Obviously not by any of us in the team, but someone in the ancient times did it. It has nothing to do with what we are researching right now. And the DNA sequenciations do not coincide with anything that we know. Luisa is a little one of 60 centimeters. The members of the university have studied the plates of metallic material, and this material is extremely exotic and does not coincide with nothing made in the culture of that time and the region of Peru. Next one, Montserrat. She is the one that Salce, that Dr. Salce, it's the one he was talking about that he noticed for the first time that they were pterodactyl, the fetus that they had inside. Like she was pregnant. We saw the X-ray, the tomography, and we saw something inside. Now, all of this is live, and next one.
There's been some science,
This
Mike.
is the body, so that you can know it. The fact that she has 3 fingers is authentic. There is no manipulation there. And you will be able to make all the collaborations, because this is why the science exists, to corroborate, to confirm, and to repeat and confirm. Next, Santiago is one that we presented in Sheraton Hotel, and the Culture Ministry and the Ministry of Culture basically came there to basically take us to prison, basically. And you were able to see that live, but we don't really understood what they wanted. But we were presented the images. We were presenting the images of what we had done in Sheraton. Mike Dowell was there as well. He had analyzed Santiago's body, the next one, and Sebastian, who are the 2 bodies.
I think so, Catkins,
as well.
unfortunately.
We're going to say, next one, please. And today, when I had analyzed those bodies before the tomography, I think this is very authentic. I think this is required, because you cannot know if a tomography is worth it or not. Like, it can be done, manufactured or not, but you have to analyze it first. And that's why I want to say to all of you that I haven't received. Nobody has paid me to do any of this. Suyai, we have called them from an insectoid species, not humanoid anymore. We're going to present them in Mexico. It's complex to comment about a being of these. She's very small, but we have also analyzed it in depth. She also has eggs inside, and I presented her in the 2nd Congress in Mexico. I was in charge of, for those who do not know me, in charge of the research in the Tribunal of Corruption in Montesino case for almost 3 years. I was also in charge of the case of when they were investigating Captain Carlos in the case. In those times, a candidate for presidency. I've also been member of I have a long trajectory, and I've done the conference of the scholarship of the medics of Peru, and they give me these hands, these stones that for them they are valuable according to their beliefs. And next,
Yeah, those wing things are really interesting.
we're hearing. I want to
really have
thank
wings?
Joyce for what he has done up to now. Next one.
Thanks, Mike.
And here we are checking one, and behind me you can see there are a lot of, when one takes radiographies, there's a lot of dangerous waves. Here we are in the control zone with a technician.
Yeah, did these things
And
fly?
that was done. Next one here, because we have to square.
Could be.
Is one of the last bodies Joyce called me to verify the authenticity of this take.
Alexander, yeah, they were once living beings.
So that the tomography corresponds to the
The
body.
ones we're talking about.
And that's what I did with this take. They say I have limited time.
There
I
are
am sorry
fakes and
to
dolls and
have extended
constructs,
my time.
but that's not
Thanks
what
a
we're
lot.
talking about.
Now, could I just put this one, this last slide, please? Some of you are confused with the quantity of bodies. At the left, you can see a human body. It's a proportion. In the second one, you can see the proportions of Maria if we were able to make her to stand up, because the desiccated body is not standing up. Sebastian is the fourth one. Josefina, Victoria, all of them, they are in the fifth one. Wawita, the one that is like in fetal position, the almost last one, that is not actually, we're not actually furthering investigation with her because we have seen that she's not a pterodactyl being and the DNA does not correspond to those of the other ones. The next ones, they are isolated species that we have seen them in different parts, and they are erratic. They are not whole bodies, and this is a different part of the research. And the other ones that are like insectoids, that they are like insects, like the one that I just presented. That's it. Thanks for the time that my presentation took. Thanks, Doctor.
Good point, science. The sexiest Nazca is up.
I'm going to give the word to Antonio Estrada Moreno from the Peru Ministry Culture Archaeological
What does the Vatican
Department,
know? Absolutely, Kekens.
with 25 years of experience in the analysis of animals and human remains, archaeological remains. He has done exploration of archaeological sites, and he is now he's now to the service of Lima, Peru. Welcome. You can now speak. Thanks a lot, Mr. President. Please, can you please turn off the lights, because all of what I have is images. Can you please turn off this image?
That's what he meant.
From a long time ago, since 2017, we have seen a lot of these objects going through the internet and different connections. One of them arrived at a laboratory in Lima where we can analyze. Next image, please. This is the stuff that we have seen in the through time, skulls, dolls, different parts of the body that have been going through have been going online in different ways. Just as you can see, Dr. Orlando's, we have done different studies where we have done histological studies, which was and the results were interesting because there wasn't any tissue. It was just vegetal.
Is that the guy that presented the dolls at the press conference and tried to pass them off as the bodies?
Interestingly, last year, two objects of anthropomorphical form were destroyed that were going to delivered to Mexico. That were to be delivered to Mexico.
Yeah, this guy makes Sean Kirkpatrick look good. I don't know.
So they were destroyed and they were going to be sent to Mexico directly. But next image, please. Here we present the doll, the HLO2 that was dressed with female clothes. We can see different kinds of bones.
Why are they trying to pass these off as
That is
the
very
bodies?
interesting is that the skull.
I mean, I know why, but still.
Is the skull of a camelido.
I wish the scientists would
Having in
push
mind,
back on this stuff. The
it
scientists
has
are
all the
being way
stuff that
too
they
nice,
have,
not pushing back on this
they
stuff.
supposedly had. They have the metallic plate in the body that has the purpose to make an impression in the people. We can also see
We need
the
like a meme of Sean
bones.
Kirkpatrick wearing
So
a
that
sombrero and having a
to
big
make these
mustache.
dolls, they used bird bones. They were cut. There is a disorder, an absolute disorder, anatomical disorder. Next one,
Yeah,
please.
these are the
This is
actual
another doll,
dolls.
the
These
doll
are
one.
actual fakes that were made
Interestingly,
as
this doll
souvenirs.
was also surprising
And they're trying to say these are the bodies.
that
I can't
merits
believe they're
attention.
still doing this.
This one
They're still pushing this obvious
also
disinformation.
had eggs in
This
its
is
interior,
disgusting.
so it's
I thought they were going to try to take them more seriously now.
they
I thought
like to
the
put things
Ministry
inside
of
just to
Culture was
confuse the
collaborating on this
population,
museum.
and we can also see the
I thought
same
they had studied the
manufacturer,
bodies.
cut
Didn't
bones,
the
a
Ministry of
mixture of
Culture
different
study the
things,
bodies?
the metal plates, which is something very common. Eggs that have different shapes, that have a higher density. Those who know about radiology, I assume that the medics that here have done, that have used that word before, they should know that an element that is white in a radiological plate is an element of higher density, and that's what we can see here. These are the elements that have been presented since a long time
It's a
ago.
good fake.
Next,
It's a good
please.
doll. You got to give the
This
doll
is
maker credit.
an X-ray about doll number 2. We can see that inside there's a bone. Next,
Yeah,
the
why are they
comparison,
wasting
the
their time with
osteological
this?
comparison with
Didn't
animals
the Ministry of
revealed that
Culture
the
study
anatomy
the
is the
bodies
same
just a few weeks
of
ago?
a
Didn't they actually
camel
get the bodies and
skull.
study
This is
them and then
very
give them back?
clear in this
I think that
kind
may have
of
happened while I was in
comparison.
Georgia.
This is
Uh,
not
I guess this guy
an
wasn't part of
extraterrestrial
that. He
skull.
didn't study the
This is a
bodies,
skull of a being in this
or he did, but he's still pushing the BS.
in this
Oh, this
world,
is
which could be
disgusting.
a llama or an alpaca.
Oh, and his
Next,
audio is
so
just
we
fine, by the
decided
way.
to open this cavity to see these so-called eggs, and they were actually just stones. They had calcium carbonate. These components could be any kind of stone, which was very dense. That's why it was very dense in the X-rays. Next one. We have to ask
We got
some
alpacas,
questions.
y'all. Yeah, we do.
Why do we recognize an
We've got
an
disinformation,
alien
y'all.
when we see them? Why do we have stuff like
Yeah,
this and we
audio is
say, ah,
perfect for this one.
this is an alien? Why do we think that? Where do we have that image from bipedal aliens with long skulls? That image comes from the TV, from movies, from TV shows.
What's this guy's name? I
Of
always forget.
aliens
I
that
need
they
to
have
start calling him the
made
Lovely,
us
but I need to
believe
know
that
his name first.
all the aliens have a humanoid form. Why would all the aliens have a humanoid form? I ask you, why would all the aliens have a humanoid form? Why? Next image. This is something that should be
Hey, it's
thought
a good
about.
question.
Next one. Next one,
From the
please.
Disinfo guy.
This is the doll Alberto of University of Ica.
Yeah, this guy is talking about the actual dolls
We
that
can
were
see
seized at the
the long
airport that were
skull
made for
elongated to
souvenir
the
items.
back.
And the Ministry of Culture
That
has been
image
using
that we
these
see in
for
movies and TV
propaganda
shows,
purposes ever
the
since.
elongated skull. Next.
And they are still
one.
doing it, even though we have 2 peer-reviewed
This
papers
is from
on
this image
Maria.
we can see
This is
human
insane.
cut bones. There even is a bone that has a pathology. That would mean that this alien had anemia and had pathology through its life. This leg are manufactured human bones that were cut and put together in a very disorderly way. We can also see this is the key of all of this. The next one.
Yeah, there's been some question
This is the
about
other
whether
one.
Maria was male, female, or
This is
androgynous.
Josefina
Last I
with
heard,
the
she
same
was officially
characteristics
female.
of manufacture. This is Josefina. The so-called eggs that they are supposed to have in the interior of the body. In a radiography, in an X-ray, an element that is white is a very dense element, and look the bones that are surrounding it. What is surrounding it is are real bones. We do not have any doubt about that, but those elements that are inside are much more dense than what are surrounding them. Next one. Here is the queen of the spectacular of the show. This is Maria. Next one. Cut bones in all the parts of the body, asymmetrical. If these would have been living beings, they would have a very grave discapacity. They would be very discapacitated. They would not be able to walk without breaking their bones. Next one. Also, the eggs, the so-called eggs, are there. She died when she was
It
pregnant.
is
Of these
interesting
three
that people
eggs
who
that
have seen
have
the gray
different
aliens
shapes,
walk
different.
say they walk very
And
stiffly.
here we
Very
can
awkwardly.
analyze. I would like
That's
you
why they
to
usually
analyze
float.
this with very calmly,
Why?
especially with McDowell.
So yeah, the Nazca
That
beings
for him
probably did
to
not
analyze
walk
this,
like we do.
we have the X-rays. Above, we can see Josefina. We also see the one we analyzed in 2017, analyzed by us. We analyzed that.
Fraudio Estrada.
The radiography was done.
Is this
We
that's
have
his
the
name?
ones that we
The lovely
destroyed,
Fraudio.
and the
Oh no,
X-rays
I think that's a joke.
can tell us that
Fraudio,
they are the
right?
same
I got it.
anatomical characteristics. The magnum, the true magnum hole was constructed in the base to make an appearance that it was an individual that had a blood vessels, and
Flavio.
that does not
Flavio.
exist
The
because
lovely
it's in
Flavio
the
Estrada.
front.
Okay.
Next one. Look at this.
But didn't
Dr.
the Ministry
McDowell,
of Culture
look at
study the
this.
bodies just a few weeks ago? I'm
Look
going
at what
back to
we
that,
are
guys, because I thought they were over
watching
this.
there. What do you
I thought they
find
were
here?
finally on
The
board.
first two
Maybe.
X-rays are from
At least they weren't going to push
Albert.
this propaganda
The other
anymore.
one is from
But
Josefina.
I was
The
wrong.
third one is from the one we analyzed in
They are going
2017.
back to their
And the
their
fourth and the
roots.
fifth are the ones that we destroyed
Yeah, so
this year.
subscribe and like,
We took X-rays and compared. What do you
especially if you
observe
don't
there?
like Flavio.
Ufology community
Adam,
that is
Atomic
here.
Traveler says, "Hi guys, sometimes people
Congressman,
lie." OJ
Look
Simpson
at what
verdict
we're
for the
watching
cover.
here.
Okay, well,
Listen,
I'm not
please.
going to get into all that, but
Distinguished.
yeah, sometimes people lie, and Flavio knows all
With
about
respect,
that.
please. Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. President. We can see here that the
Yeah, that's
elements
true. Arrows seemed like they were on
share
board
the
until we heard them
same
speak.
element, the same anatomical
Oh my God.
characteristics. They are camel or alpaca or llama skulls. Now, one of the people that formed the group
I'm not an anarchist,
of
but I'm
you,
not a big fan of the government.
the biologist, Jose de la Cruz Rio Lopez,
Kagan says, Jack, I'm going to have to
member
walk away for a
as well
minute.
of the
Yeah,
group
I know. I
of
might have to
Mr.
walk away for a
Maussan,
minute too.
a
This
friend
is
of
making
Dr.
me
Salce
grind my teeth.
and other personalities, presented a scientific article. And what does he conclude in base of a study of tomographies? What does he conclude? That the head of Josefina is the head of a llama. Jose de la Cruz Lopez got out of the bag, and that's why he's not here anymore. So Jose de la Cruz Rio Lopez concludes that the skull of Josefina is the skull of a llama or an alpaca. Next, please. Now let's talk about Maria, of her skull and her feet. First, next one, please. This is the poor Maria, a human mummy that was mutilated from hands and feet to give this tridactyl appearance.
Somebody
This
that won the
modification of
forensic
of the skull
an award for forensic science has
is
validated that she was a
an
genuine
intentional
tridiagonal being. She was
modification
not
of the
mutilated.
skull
There have been
that
2
form part
peer-reviewed
of their skull.
papers on
That's
Maria.
not how she was
She was not
born.
mutilated.
This is how
This guy is driving me crazy.
it was given a new shape. Next one. how strange that this hybrid have uh, teeth with decay in the teeth. How strange! I could show you where the teeth are. This is
Okay, I'll be back in a
a
few
very
minutes,
evident
guys.
human
That'll be cool.
teeth. They do this 2,000 years ago, but you can see the pathologies, just like with the tomographies, radiographies have revealed. Next, these are the tomographies that have been going around. Here we have the key to understand also the tridactyly, the three fingers of Maria. This is a hand that we also analyzed this year. We found how they do this. They use a cotton in the so-called joints. They put this this glue like uhu, which gives a hardening, very interesting hardening. This is how they could maybe have manufactured these mummies. The next one is there she is. Next one. Doesn't exist any kind of the bone is intact like the one of any human being. Next one. The interesting thing here, and I am sorry that the medics that they do not know human anatomy, the medics that analyze this, because what you are seeing here are the feet, the mutilated feet of a human, of what they have, from whom they had taken away the some bones from the feet, but worst of all, in these feet of Maria, they they put together some bones of the hand of a human hand. And if you do not know anatomy, if you do not know anatomy, then you should be very careful. This should be the first mummy that you see for somebody like us that we have seen mummies for decades. This mummy is an archaeological mummy from human procedence, human origin. Observe the distance between the bones of the feet. This is not normal. Please, please. I really the president is speaking right now. He please, I ask of you to do not engage personally with any of the participants, only through president. This is a very controverted and true topic. So the exposition that each part are doing, and I ask of you to do all of this in this way. I'm already doing the wrapping up this exposition. The deformation in the skull of ancient population of Peru is it was a very practiced thing back then. If you do not know this, you can see them there. They are not from other planet. They are human skulls, elongated skulls that were deformed. These newborn, you can see them. This is this is archaeological material. Their skulls are being deformed. And we do not have any signal anymore. Here we go again. This is Phineas Barnum. He is the creator of in a circus where he presented strange things, people with anomalies, but he also presented something that was called the Mermaid of Sinji, that was manufactured with the front part of a primate and the anterior part of a fish. But this is what they did with all based in lies. His phrase was, "Each day a fool is born." Pseudoscience is dangerous. Pseudoscience offends. Pseudoscience, Mr. President, is a danger for our society, Mr. President, especially in medicine. This pseudoscience is combined with farandula, with public scandal like magic. It doesn't have any scientific basis. Pseudoscience, in this case, is trying to tell us another story that the cultures of the past were not be able to make these mummies, and they needed the presence of another planet so that they could make it. This is the damage that pseudoscience makes. In another part, we have the scientists, Dr. Elsa Tomasto, that they have already mentioned them, one of the few bioarchaeologists that live in Peru, Dr. Bombardi, Dr. Salas, Dr. Islas. And in the other one, we have the slides that we have seen, and we do not have seen anymore. A member of this team, including biologist, no signal again. This is something that they repeat once and once again, and no signal again. Again, pseudoscience is scandal, no signal again. We still have no signal. We will continue shortly. Okay, we're back. What catches my attention is that they are still presenting the dolls that they destroyed. They are dolls, they are actual dolls, and we all know that. What surprises me is that they even insult Dr. Salce, Dr. David Reels, that have decades of experience. No, because you haven't seen an X-ray, you do not know human anatomy. Please, that's his role. His role is to cause confusion in the public opinion, and that's what they are here to do. Oh, they are talking about what they did in the first things that they were doing.
Okay, I'm back.
Because they got some dolls, and they are dolls, and we denounced that from the beginning.
All right, we've got dolls. What did I miss? Yeah, I did. No, yeah, I'm here. I'm back. Did we get any actual science after the Mexican or the Peruvian Sean Kirkpatrick? Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. What did I miss, guys? Let me know. They almost blew their ears out. Yeah. I had to. I couldn't take the fake news anymore. I mean, actually, still discussing the dolls seized at the airport. There were obvious dolls trying to discredit Maria. Yeah. What the hell? What the hell, guys? Two peer-reviewed papers on Maria. Dr. McDowell, who has won an award for the highest honor for forensic science, who says Maria is a genuine tridactyl being. And we have fingerprints that are not known to science. They're slightly reptilian. There is a lizard that has something similar to Maria's fingerprints, or the fingerprints of the beings
analyzed that they have nothing to do with the discovery that we have had, that they are dolls effectively because they had dolls. They never determined their origin. They don't come from the same place. But Yes, please. Doesn't have anything to do with this discovery.
Finally,
They were
some pushback.
told
Good.
that were there. We have found eight bodies, humanoid pterodactyl bodies, of which DNA analysis have been done, and the DNA is considered the queen of all proof. And well, we are going to listen to radiologist Enrique Carlos Calla, who was commissioned by the Commission of Culture from the hospital, Augusto Hernandez Mendoza, with whom I had the chance to talk to yesterday, that after
Negro
making the
West.
research of the bodies of Maria and Guaguita, especially Maria, this is what he told me about the body of Maria. We have to see signs that if you say that they are amputated, that maybe they were fractured, the bones or something like that.
The Grand
There is no
Canyon
any
is
sign
weird.
of that, but that there is but that there are some bones missing. We have seen that. Now, this merits a parentage that we does not correspond to us to pronounce. We're just doing the radiologic study of what we're seeing and what we have been able to do with the software that has been described. So the technological part helps us have a judgment, but there's been rich research of what happened with a number of bones, because we have the normal variant of a human body that could not be possible in a human body. But so you do not see any signs of it to be cut. We cannot severe that. There is no sign of it
Yeah,
to
what's
have been
going on in the
fractured,
Grand
for
Canyon?
example. We
Something
cannot see any
interesting is
sign of
going on in the
that.
Grand Canyon.
If it had, how would it see? If there was any kind of fracture, we would be able to see it. There would be a signal of fracture. But we do not see any fracture, but we do see that there's an accumulation that is not in the bones of the fingers of a foot. The other extremities, they only show 3 fingers, almost in the same manner as Maria and Guaguita. So they are natural, to say in some way.
Okay,
It does
good.
not correspond to me to say that, but
So they
and what kind of research is necessary to go further in this case? So I repeat, I am just a general radiologist. We have done this. We have done what you have asked of us, but we do not
Evo,
have
Green Street O.
a lot of radiologists, and we do not have a parentage that could be done by a specialist in that manner,
I would see that.
in this kind of topics, right? Thanks a lot to both of you. I thank your participation.
Platypus is weird.
Thanks. But as you can see, they did not find any sign of the bodies to be altered, like the Ministry of Culture says. They are legitimate bodies. What the congressman should do is that these bodies, they should be given to the best international institutes, and so that they can do there the determination of the validity of this discovery, because this is the biggest treasure that Peru has done, and it belongs to the inhabitants of Nazca and Palpa. The possibility to create a center of research specialized to analyze these bodies and further the research, apart from the called lines of Nazca, that they have been found one of the most important discoveries of history. so that people that have limited knowledge and that have a different perspective can try to neutralize um, or delete any kind of bias. McDowell was the president of the Academy of Forensic Sciences. We have no signal. Here we go again. Of the United States. He just received the prize, which is the biggest prize that he could receive in the area. And if he considers that this discovery should be analyzed and investigated further
I like that.
in the best institutes of the world, that's what we ask of the government of Peru, that they allow that these bodies travel to these institutions to then return to Peru to an investigation center. Are you going to throw this away to the garbage, friends, Peruvian friends, to not allow this to be considered one of the motherly societies of the world? Do you realize what you have in your hands? I can show 8 images of the beings that were presented up to today. Tell me if they were mummified or modified. Why and how? I am not here to make money or to make me famous or anything. I am not ufologist. They called me a ufologist. I am not. I am a journalist. I am 50. I have a 55 years of journalism. I have received the best prizes in journalism, and I've been recognized by journalists of the whole world. I am not a
Look at these
ufologist, and
jokers.
you're not going to reduce like that my investigations. My investigations are considered very important in Mexico. I have a program from 30 years ago related to different topics, and a lot of them journalism. So I declare I am not a ufologist, I am a journalist, and the only thing that I want is the truth that belongs also to our friends in Peru. It's not possible for us to leave this, that we are debating this in the Congress. This should be given to the best institutions. Why is it not allowed for the best scientifics, for the best scientists in the world to determine if this is true or not? This looks like a debate, one and another. No, let's end this. Make the third ones the best people in the world, the most qualified people in the world to determine this, not any of us who are sat here. Are we going to let that opportunity go? Is Peru going to let that opportunity go? Because this is extraordinary for the inhabitants of Palpa and Nazca to have a research center that makes people come to them. It is very important to consider everything that is happening here. It is the time to do this, and I hope that you do not throw this to the garbage and that it really transforms into one of the most important discoveries for the humanity, one of the biggest treasures that have been found in Peru. Let's stop from this kind of debates.
Yeah, the Mussolini UFO is
from
very
persons
interesting.
that are limited, that have limited capabilities, and let's have this to different, to the most. They do not know what they're saying. They are wrong, and they cannot accept that they're wrong. They're accepting dolls for them to be presented, risking their own prestige. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Maussan.
Well said, Jaime.
We have lost.
It's ridiculous that
signal.
this is
We
a
will be
debate.
back
This
soon.
should not be a debate. This should be presenting the science.
We are back.
Are we?
To the jury, by the way. And if the signal is gone again, please bear with us.
Come on, Signal, you can do it.
We'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, that smug look on their faces just really ticks me off.
Obviously, with calmly, that's what we want here in the Commission of Culture and in the Congress. We lost the signal again.
Yeah, bad guys aren't touching Montserrat, are they?
We will be back soon. Of the Republic. We're going to continue. Announce with your name and what institution you belong to. You have the word.
Yeah, good job. The
Thanks, Mr.
translator is doing
Congressman.
aces. He really is.
Thanks. It's the first time that I'm here in a hearing audience. I am Mario Segada Torres, a journalist of the OVNI phenomena, and I want to speak more like a citizen. I do not want to speak like a researcher. I want to speak like a citizen that pays taxes, and I want to speak. In these 7 years, I've had a locution in Nazca, and I think that I'm going to summarize it. As a citizen, I am disappointed very deeply by the actions of the Ministry of Culture. There is legal anomalies, there is administrative anomalies, there is incomplete. There are
And this is
incomplete
not over.
documents without sign. There is no authorization of the former administratives. There is no signs of the important people that should be there of every government of these people. I think that the best thing that we could do is the information transparency law that was made in 1906, that any citizen of Peru can ask.
I clap trip.
We lost audio of legal applications.
It's been okay, Neil. Not great, but there's some
These
disinfo,
salaries
some
that-
real info, some good science when you can hear it.
Their salary that comes with transparency. And I am not saying honesty here. And I think that one of the things that we have to do is that from now on, we have to go to the other side of the river and battle for the truth, for the infinite truth. These legal issues has already been done in the past, and I'm going to say it. The government of Velasco prejudiced the case of the stones of Ica, and they jailed that person, and this can be updated. And if you sign here, then you will be able to say that the stones were fake. And the same thing happened with, for example, worries by an astronomist that destroyed part of the lines of Nazca. They were destroyed. More of 30 were destroyed. Where was the Minister of Culture there?
Oh, I didn't
Nobody
know
said
that.
nothing.
They destroyed some of the
happened
lines
there?
of Nazca.
That is why that the citizens of Peru, we need to gather and make groups of control and fiscalization to the function of the functionaries of the Minister of Culture. What does the Minister of Culture say right now? It would be important to know. It would be important to know that the President, Dina Boluarte, gives an opinion about this. I think that this is important enough, and it shouldn't be possible for someone as important as her to not give an opinion, and she has to do it because she is a public. She's a public figure. And in another hand, the ufology is not a pseudoscience. The Congress of 2019, we have spoken to the to people of the Pentagon that have
Hey, Sam.
filmed objects of 15 meters, and this is a truth. So I say that we should battle for the truth. Thanks.
You're too right, Paula.
Effectively, the objective of this reunion, is to battle against ignorance. The best way to say is to do, and that's what we know. Consequence. I now give the word to Hernandez from the University of Ica. Good. Now, with everything, I greet everyone here. I think this debate is being held that should be done. This should be analyzed at this level. I am Edgar Hernandez, who has been in charge of the research of the body Maria. I am an anatomist of more than 30 years. I know anatomy. I
This should be good.
once listened to an anthropologist of a worldwide
Thanks,
thing.
Sam.
And she said that we speak about a lot of bones and we do not really know about bones. That's what she said. And this is the research that we have been doing. I have published scientific articles, scientific papers, and you should know.
Yeah, the truth is classified.
Please, I will have to suspend your hearing, to suspend the hearing.
What?
If you do not, I ask for forgiveness. I am sorry, friend. I am sorry.
What?
I will have to suspend this hearing or to close this hearing
What?
if you cannot respect each other.
What's
I have
going
the
on?
slides. If you can please give them, please. I am speaking. Maria, we have researched her at a general level. This is controversial. You could say that. I am sorry. They are anomalies, mutilations, as you can say, but you cannot say the same discoveries to a single person, and they can be elongated. And we know that the elongation was practiced, but it cannot happen that when you distort a skull, you cannot change the volume of the skull. And we have demonstrated that this is almost 30% bigger than
Look at them smirking.
normal human skulls, and you cannot do that. The volume cannot be because bigger volume means bigger brain tissue. I do not have time, so I'm going to go forward. Next one, please. These are the articles that have been published. They are on the internet. You can see them in the internet
Yeah,
published.
the brain volume is
this
larger.
year.
Boom. End
The
of
next
story.
one,
End of
please. Next
argument. Why are we arguing? Let's study these things.
In the skull here, the proportion of volume between the skull and the face should be 1:1. In this one, we have
I think you're
seen
right, Catkins.
all the meditions. We have done skull points, which is technical science with scientific fundamentals. The next one, with these meditions, we have seen that there is a volume 30% higher. This is a proportion 1:3:1, which is not normal for a human. This is a considerable more mass for a human skull. And this has been used in science, and this angle has been heightened, and it has 108. So it's not even a bit. It's a protrusion that is very, very noticeable, which is very severe. And this is the other case, the next one, which happens the same with the jaw. The jaw is very up to the front, this is very important. Look at the degrees. This is like 80 degrees. It's very important. This is the view that we can have from a 3D reconstruction of this. These two entities is very strange, right? We have the skull, we have the eye globes that are bigger than they should be. The next one, this is an ocular protrusion in the spine. It also has wounds, but she is missing a vertebrae. Well, I'm going to finish with my participation that in the arm, she has an exaggeration in the separation between the two bones of the arm that is more similar to a gorilla than to a human, because the gorilla have the separation between these two bones. And it is similar to the gorilla anatomically speaking. And it has human characteristics, but also hominid characteristics. I don't have any more time to say all the other stuff that I should be saying.
They should have given that guy a lot more time, and those BS guys a lot less time.
We lost connection. We'll be back as soon as we get signal.
And they almost cut that guy off. What was he saying that was so disrespectful? I mean, he was pushing back on the disinformation. I didn't hear anything blatantly disrespectful.
Please.
Although he had every right to be disrespectful
identify
if he
yourself
was.
and the institution you represent. Thanks.
Yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Navigator.
I am biologist Ricardo Rangel. I have more than 27 years of experience in immunogenetics and histocompatibility and regenerative medicine. I have done the interpretation of the results of the sequenciation, the genetic sequenciation of these organisms. And I want to comment that inside the criteria, the scientific criteria for the identification of organisms, the DNA tests are the motherly tests. They are the biggest ones, and they are included. That's why they are included in criminological debates to even make sentences for people that are involved in crimes. So very important research has been developed in the sequenciation in a laboratory from Canada, which has thrown millions of lecture sequences from the small beings like Maria, the being that is put into question a lot, put into doubt, that they say that is something manufactured, which from my point of view is something completely mistaken. I think that you should do a more deep analysis. But what we have found in Maria is that she has aspects related to the genetics of primates, from Pantroglodytes and Panpaniscus, which are, well, we come directly from the hominid line 7 million years ago. And we have been studying all of these descendants, which are questioning all of this. But I want to comment to you that this genetics information that is in Maria is modern information from approximately at least 1.5 million years ago, when the evolution is branching away, when we are branching away from chimpanzees. And how is that in an African genome is present in a sample in America this much time ago, and also has some ascendants from China? How is a mummy that is in America has this kind of ascendants and genetic information? And we also found that there is an infection from Maria, in parts from a bacteria that is only found in the tsetse fly in Africa. How can a pathogen that is exclusive from the central zone of Africa in an organism that is found in South America? I think that from that point of view, we have to give the benefit of the doubt. Giving the benefit of the doubt to all those present here, we have to put more research here to understand what is happening here. It is very important to understand that this organism, we need to make more research regarding the genetics of these organisms, and it is worth it, very importantly.
Hell yeah.
Thanks a lot, distinguished friend.
Give that guy more time.
I think that your words are spoken correctly. And now the final words for the congressman, to Mr. Joyce Mantilla. Thanks, President. You have 3 minutes. Perfect. President, congressmen, and
Thanks,
all
Dr.
the
Clark.
assistants, when I was involved in this case, I did it with doubts because I saw that these bodies were very strange.
Sad but true,
These
man.
doubts and the skepticism that we have as journalists make us go in the search of answers after the first analysis that were made in ICARI with the forensics that came from Mexico and the United States. We lost signal. We'll come back as soon as we get our signal back. In Russia, we found that this was a truly wonderful discovery, that we could, and I could see a lot of bodies that were not human. And I give all the reason to the people of the public ministry, because what they have done is to study dolls. There's a big difference. They do not know the bodies that are actually organic. We have lost audio.
Again. Joyce Mantilla is amazing. He's a big part of the whole
with
thing.
the interpretation and translation as soon as the audio comes back.
Yeah, we wouldn't be
Please
where
sit
we
tight.
are without Joyce.
We'll come back in a moment.
Thierry Jamon and Joyce and Jaime. Of course, Mario. All those guys instrumental in bringing us here. All right. Well, I hate to miss Joyce's comments. That's too bad.
Please be patient. We'll come back whenever the audio signal comes back to us. Here we are. Unfortunately, we lost the audio in the presentation of Joyce Mantilla. Yes, that's right. And well, finally, it is very important to mention that in some hours, a little later, through the social media of Jaime Maussan, you will be able to find the complete version and, of course, the analysis surrounding this hearing that, of course, once more, this is coming to the light as well. The Minister of Culture is still in this squared manner and very closed off to possibilities. And Joyce Mantilla said something very important. The teachers, the scientists, experts of the Ministry of Culture have been taken basis only in the dolls that they have researched, which we all know have dolls, which I think, and they say that this is the proof that everything else is not truth, and that itself is not true. And they said that Maria had been amputated, which is just it's just a lie. How can somebody that has decades of experience, that has advocated himself to fix hands that have been injured, that he could not notice that the hands were amputated? That's just unacceptable. Just with the purpose of disqualify. And the chemical composition of these beings and these metal plates, we know that they are alloys that are amazing and that do not correspond to the time, and these guys didn't do these tests. And it is in the Instituto Politécnico Nacional where they could see where what metals were these. And osmium is a very rare material. They did not know that in that time. I want to ask you a question, Ruben. Would they have have they budgeted anything? Have they spent any money in this research? Because it's very easy. Have you seen them invest in this sort of tests? We are seeing now one of the new bodies. This is a new body. It has not been presented before, and this is an even bigger finding than you think. It is and it is tridactyl in hands and feet. It's like Maria. This is a being that is very strange because the jaw is not as protruding as with Maria, but we are seeing, you can see the nails, and you can see even hair. We're seeing beings that were created. So there could be variations from one to another. And with the question, have you seen that the Ministry of Culture has invested any kind of money, any important sum of money, like Canada did with the DNA sequencing? That's costly. And why would you do that for dolls? It has no sense. It makes no sense. We have to take this to the USA. We have taken this to USA universities. Wouldn't they notice if this were fake? Of course they would. And well, they just don't want to accept this. Why would they not want to? They laugh. They are laughing. They're making fun of us.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for the hearing. Maybe if they cut back to it, I'll go back to it. But I think that is pretty much it. It looks like Joyce Mantilla was going to have the final comments, and then the audio got messed up. But they kind of summarized some of what he had to say, and he was giving some serious pushback to the disinfo guys at the Ministry of Culture, which is great, and God bless him. It's about time somebody gave some pushback. Jaime was giving some pushback, and the other guys are being way too nice. Although that one guy, the president, if that's who it was, almost canceled the hearing because either something he said or something somebody else was saying. I didn't hear anything that gentleman himself said that was too controversial. So maybe it was something somebody else said. But yeah, it got fiery, it got testy in there. It was interesting hearing. The audio wasn't great, especially for the guys presenting the real science, but the audio was fine for the disinfo guys. Although I think somebody was saying it did cut out at one point for the disinfo guys. So I hope that's the case. I hope it wasn't deliberately cut for the truth tellers. Are we going to get some comments from Josh McDowell?
It's something apart. I still have the hope. Oh, they're speaking again. We have audio again.
Maybe we have audio. Maybe we don't. Come on, you can do it.
And to get to clear results.
That's Josh McDowell, I think. John McDowell's son, the attorney. I don't know who that guy is.
It's important to differentiate the bodies that have been presented here, because we recognize that there exists manufactured dolls, but not all of them are like that. It's a bad purpose.
Look at them
to show the bodies that are not the best ones. These are a disservice to the people of Peru and to the ethical purposes. It's the purpose of the Ministry of Culture to protect the objects, the bodies that belong to the national patrimony.
I think that's Josh McDowell, Tim. I think.
In our brief study, we have not got to conclusions.
John McDowell's
but we would like to work with Peruvian scientists and international scientists. We know that these bodies are special and unique. We should start with genetic tests and carbon-14 to get to the results. Thank you for the time. Thank you. I congratulate you for your intervention. Now, we're going to give the word to Congressman Victor Flores so that he can give some commentary. Thanks a lot, Mr. President. I am here. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. I am here because I have also felt the curiosity. 2 years ago, I was in Ica. And in Ica, I didn't find. I just saw what I'm going to comment now. And it results that pseudoscience actually exists, and I do not say that, but pseudoscience exists. And in Peru and in Mexico, that we have Latin roots, Spanish, and very proudly of it, practically, we don't have the same pseudoscience. By other hand, I've heard that there are dozens of these beings. Well, I have counted, I think, at least 12 or 10, but the dozens is to talk about more of a 30 or 40 or 50, I don't know. In another hand, there are journalists and
PX, they're
journalists.
non-human bodies that
So
were
that we
probably
cannot
made by
lie
off-worlders.
about.
They're
There are journalists
hybrids,
that have
creations of some sort.
fabricated interests and journalists that do not. And I think that that is very clear here. Humanoid. Who told you that these were extraterrestrial or stuff? They just said that they were humanoid.
Yeah, we don't know their origins.
Human appearance. This is because of the gravity of the planet. Therefore, I'm not going to explain this right now because I would need a lot of time. When someone speaks of this, they apparently have the truth. But we have to make judgment of it because not because they speak with technicalities, they have the truth. I have seen some X-rays where there are parts very dense, very white, of course. And I don't think that the eggs are denser than the bones. I put that just to have some criteria as well to the Mr. So that you can have more arguments. There's bone asymmetry. I think that's very relevant. The bones should have continuity, beginning and end. They
Bodies
cannot
are
be
weird.
cut or asymmetrical by any means. Another thing, they speak of DNA. If they are extraterrestrial beings, would they respond to human? Would they respond to human parameters of human?
This is a Ministry
DNA.
of Culture guy. I see the word.
Maybe they don't even have
culture and
genes or any other
testimony there.
configuration. So these beings, it is possible that we have to check them again. In another hand, Mr. President, Cro-Magnon man was 40,000 years old. He's already a humanoid, and it's already a human being. Mummified.
That's a good question, Toxic
We do
Fart.
not
If
know.
you
I
are
do not know.
a grade,
But for
if
that,
you were
we have
created on Earth,
carbon-14.
what are you?
And of those bodies, well, with more criteria if they are armed or not. I want to finish, Mr. President,
Armed
with
means manufactured.
a little reflection. The color of the findings, if we find the...
Got some balloons.
I have seen two photos. A photo of a mummy and another one, and those and those that are supposedly mummified. That one is orange white, and another one is natural mummified color. So we also have to have some criteria here. If we see the mummy of Tutankhamun, what I have asked, would they have been white? I do not think so. In another hand, Mr. President, and I think with this I want to finish off.
Oh, good.
There are bones of birds. To know if they are birds, then we just need to use the technology we have. That is very clear. And finally, camel skulls. Of course, we can compare them. I am not here to debate anything, just to make use of common sense. And the common sense tells me that necessarily I have to stop using the technical speech for the ufology or pseudoscience, like they mentioned, just to apply the common sense and real science. And the fact that it had been published in a scientific magazine, it does not give us the fact that there has been research behind that. And we have just had in the country, for those who do not know, a scandal of a farm of scientists, if you did not know. And finally, Mr. President, to have this remains to the foreign, I would not be opposed to that, but I do oppose to take it to the foreign, something that we can analyze ourselves, and to make the foreign to make themselves a livestock. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm not uncomfortable, but I am frustrated. Okay, what will the president? This is the president. Is this the president of Peru? Is that who this gentleman is? What does he? What will he say?
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Congressman. Distinguished friends, we are going to receive finally the words of Congressman Germán Tacuri.
I'd like to hear the president's thoughts on this. Is he at least open-minded? Or is he firmly on the side of the Ministry of Culture? Okay. This is a congressman.
Thanks, Mr. President.
Is that the guy that started us off?
As always, within respect, the exchange of points of view, I think that this public hearing in the Commission of Culture has committed its objective. The objective is to hear, to listen, the man of science, the different opinions.
Still going.
Convergent, but finally important. The Congress.
Good point, Gaggins.
Different points of view.
It's not, Sam.
With criteria. Distances have been marked, positions have been marked. And I think that because of that, this is a success. I want to congratulate our visitors here, national and international, that were able to make the efforts to make this hearing a reality about this topic. And that finally make us see that there is a will to unify experiences, professionalism of different sectors, and that we can have the space to continue with the research. If at the end this research leads to they are not, or that they are, the science is going to tell. And secondly, is that we also have to see it, like the archaeologist said, to have a touristic isle, we need to put a lot of requisites that it has to make one of those. That fundamentally is one of the objectives that we have. I want to thank everyone for this predisposition to dialogue. When some time ago we lost the signal, we will be back soon.
Some time ago we lost the signal.
Please sit tight.
All right, well,
we will continue as soon as we get the signal back.
All right, well, this guy says that it's a successful hearing because positions have been marked. Well, they're the same positions we thought we knew before. The Ministry of Culture is pushing disinformation reliably and repeatedly, and the scientists are pushing real information. I was really hoping we would see maybe an evolution of position.
Please be patient. We'll continue shortly.
Maybe the Ministry of Culture, having studied the bodies, ostensibly would actually like get on board with the mummies. We've got bodies, y'all. But no, we've got dolls, y'all. We've got constructs. They are only studying actual dolls. They are not actually studying the bodies. What the heck, guys? What the heck? Yeah.
We're still waiting for the signal. We will continue as soon as we receive it.
I mean, this guy's just going to give his closing remarks, and he's pretty middle of the road. But at least he is, you know, I mean, if he's heading this hearing, if he is the one that put this together, then, you know, I guess we should owe him thanks, you know. So thank you, guy, Congressman. So yeah, I guess that was it, guys. Very much a mixed bag. The Ministry of Culture very much continuing to push their disinformation, actually showing the results of studying dolls. Okay, I want to hear what the president has to say.
We're back to the Congress. This is a question about, it's been open about it. From one on another part, they believe to have the truth. And they surely have it because one, they have done their research, some a little bit subjective, but there is certainly a question and a worry. And this worry is important, and this worry is of every single part of the community of Peru, Ica, Nazca, and the world. And in consequence, this is an important topic. So we are not going to leave it like this. I want to value the expositions of our attendees here. The participation of John McDowell, and also from the lawyer who have done a very important reference, is to make a collaborative research with the Peruvian scientists. This research signifies to make all the efforts to precisely to have the case to enable new discoveries if it's necessary, and to believe in the science. And that's why we should make a scientific research with these Peruvian scientists, with the approval of Peruvian institutions and other institutions like COPESCO or other. So I feel very satisfied. I don't know a lot of the topic, but I do have an inclination, and I'm not going to tell you, but we really need is to conclude, hopefully with collaborative research. It's been a little tense in some spaces, and it's understandable because there is passion in the topic, but be calm. We lost the signal. We'll be back shortly.
Okay, well, I'm really encouraged that he says it is not over. For the president, this is not a done deal. He wants to pursue the science on it. That's amazing. But he says he wants to pursue the science in coordination and with permission with Peruvian institutions, aka the Ministry of Culture. How much power does the Ministry of Culture wield in Peru? Are they more powerful than the president? That's insane, guys. That's nuts. Well, why are they even there? I mean, evidently the Ministry of Culture wields considerable power in Peru.
Thank you for your patience. We will
that's
continuing
very
as soon as we get the signal.
But at least the president says this is not over, and he does want to continue pursuing the science on these bodies. So that is very encouraging. But it sounds like he does have to bend the knee to the Ministry of Culture, and that is weird. That is weird.
Again,
I don't get that.
We are back here in.
I don't understand why the Ministry of Culture wields so much power. They must have a lot of money. They must have a lot of money. A lot of money must go through the Ministry of Culture. That's all I can think of. It's crazy. Hey, John Ramirez, how's it going? Yeah, they are afraid of looking like idiots, but at the same time, they're pushing disinformation, right? They're trying to make us look like idiots. They're trying to make the whole world into idiots. believing the disinfo. They're actually showing the results of studying dolls. That's right. They spent, I guess, taxpayer money in Peru studying dolls, and then they're pushing the information out about their scientific study of dolls, and they're trying to say that's the study of the actual Nazca mummies. They didn't study the mummies, or at least they're not showing the results of the study of the mummies. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Yeah. Anyway, reptiles in the USA say no disclosure. I like it. Sheila Toole says it's too late. They already look like idiots to me. They are idiots. They're total idiots. Well, I mean, but they weren't even hiding it. The Ministry of Culture guys, they were like smirking the whole time when the scientists were presenting the actual evidence. They were just like, and they were like, they have to be deliberately pushing the propaganda, right? I don't think they legitimately believe that studying obvious dolls is the same as studying what the scientists and the doctors studied, and showing that the results of that research. Surely the Ministry of Culture guys are actual, men in black, whatever you want to call them, pushing disinformation on behest of the control group or the, maybe the Catholic majority in Peru. Whatever is going on there, they are clearly, in my mind, deliberately pushing disinformation, and the smirks on their face. Oh man, I understand how some of the scientists and doctors can get heated about this. Wow, what a shit show. I mean, really, as far as that goes, but the science. The scientists that were presenting the real science, that was amazing when you could hear it. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It was a frustrating experience, but hey, I guess we can look at it this way. Look at it positively, optimistically. Now, just imagine the president of the United States sitting down at a hearing to discuss the results of science done on actual bodies. I mean, that would be impressive, right? If President Biden or Trump sat down at a hearing to discuss the science with the actual scientists that have studied non-human bodies, and actually taking that seriously, for whatever that's worth, and saying, hey, we need to continue to study this. I mean, that would be huge, right? If that happened in the US. So it's huge if it happens in Peru too. So that itself is very impressive. And I was, impressed by that, but not impressed by the idea that they can only do it in conjunction or with the approval of the Ministry of Culture of Peru. That is really disgusting and disheartening and discouraging. The Ministry of Culture of Peru is evidently very powerful. And the president of Peru has to bend the knee to them. That is disgusting. And I don't even know. That's shocking to me. That's shocking to me that the science, as the president says, can only continue with the approval or the help or whatever of the Minister of Culture. That's disgusting. All right, well, let's see what are y'all guys thinking? Are y'all on the same boat as me? Or are y'all more optimistic or less optimistic? Skywalker OC says, remember the cover-up is the number one issue, the DOD funds. Number two is recovery and reverse engineering. Good point. Zach Moten says success. Lonnie says, I lost your comment. It's not Lonnie. John Ramirez, was that you wanting the research site from me? Okay. Individual conversation there. Paula says, not enough grown-ups in the government to handle a conversation like this. Too true. Man Effect says, Biden feed the reptiles billions again before he leaves office. Okay. X-Chaser says, AI said, or Al said, who is Ministry of Culture from Peru? The Ministry of Culture in Peru is responsible for promoting and preserving the country's cultural heritage, including its traditions, languages, and its history. Sure. But does that include the inhuman bodies that don't they have their own culture, right? And it's not necessarily the culture of Peru, although beings were certainly known to the peoples of the area and were incorporated in their culture. So yeah, well, anyway, Toxic Fart says all these countries have a pact with the USA to cover up and allow crash recoveries. Oh, absolutely. It happens over and over and over again. George Knapp was just talking about this on his new show on Netflix, how even in Colares, of course, the Americans were there and they were part of it. So, of course, they were. And Nikki B says, my thoughts, Jack. Ministry of Culture reminds me of a Harry Potter book. Yeah, it does, right? The evil Ministry of Culture. Casey says the CIA couped Peru a year ago. The government there is complicit. I don't know enough about that. Paranormal Team 1 says, what's the name of the show on Netflix, Jack? It's called, what is it? Target Alien or Investigation Alien? I think it's maybe Investigation Alien. Something like that. It just came on like yesterday or the day before. Brand new show. Yeah, Colares is very underreported, but a very important event and very weird. Yeah, people being zapped by aliens, getting sick. There seem to be some deaths associated with it. People coming down with anemic symptoms. Very alarming what happened in Colares. It went on for months or a year. It may still be ongoing. Which is crazy. Hundreds of people were affected. People were fleeing the region. The army came in and was investigating for months on end. The military, and of course, then they covered it all up. Although eventually some files were actually declassified from that investigation. Very interesting. And the lead investigator hung himself. Very, very interesting case. Very interesting case. Very alarming, strange case, but probably a very important case. Very says, okay, just came on. Is the sound gone? Yeah, it looks like the hearing is over. Looks like the hearing is basically over. If they cut back to it and there's still something going on, I'll cut to it. But they were just wrapping up with concluding remarks. So yeah, the hearing's over. Paula says, we need more information. What about Talia who got attacked? Yeah, exactly. Is the face peeler phenomenon in Peru and Brazil, is that part of some sort of ongoing event that began in the 70s with the Colares attacks? Is that all part of the same phenomenon? Great question, Paula. Let's see. Rob Tinapple says, so conclusion is, it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag, Rob. It really was. The scientists were giving good science when you could hear it. The audio wasn't great. And then you had the disinformation people from the Ministry of Culture of Peru continuing to push the disinformation, which is really disheartening. I thought they had a chance to study the bodies, and they would be reporting on, if nothing else, they would be reporting on what they had studied with the bodies now that they've actually had a chance to get to study them. But they are still reporting on the dolls that, they seized at the airport, the obvious dolls, the souvenir dolls. Yeah. So, yeah. Why did they not report on the science that they've had time to accumulate, having studied the bodies, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we know why. Yeah, I think we know why. John says, follow the money. The USA sent millions the Ministry of Culture to expand the culture of Peru that happened before the mummies came out. Yeah, absolutely, John. That is a great point. The Ministry of Culture seems like they are pushing classic disinformation and propaganda and covering this stuff up. So very likely that is at the behest of America, that the CIA, whoever is running the show, whoever is supplying them with money, seems like that is very, very likely. And that's a great point, John. Tim G says, it all feels more about who will profit out of this, not genuine interest. Yeah, if the money is flowing into the Ministry of Culture, then that could be where their power comes from, right? Because I ask, where is their power coming from? Well, why does the president of Peru have to bend the knee to the Ministry of Culture? Well, it's probably about power, right? And probably about money. And, I don't know how much they were getting from America, but evidently it's enough that the president of Peru has to bend the knee. That is crazy. And of course, it could be more than money. We don't know what else is going on behind the scenes. Paula says, give the scientists the bodies and give the government the dolls. Joyce Mattia just uncovered the corruption in Peru. Yeah, when you could hear it, Joyce did a good job. Lonnie says, love Jack and Ben. Yeah, my wife is taking care of Ben. Hey, sweetie, how you doing? You want to pop in and say hello? Oh, my wife is going to a baby shower. Okay. Oh, she's giving me Ben. Okay. All right. All right. All right. There we go. All right. Here's Ben. Hey, Ben. You want to say hello to everybody? Oh, you can show your hand. You want to show your hand? Oh, we got a little Benny hand. We got a little Benny hand. Whoa. How you doing, Benny? Benny is a big fan of the mummies. He loves the mummies. He thinks we've got bodies, y'all. We've got alien or at least non-human bodies being studied in Peru and Mexico and being covered up by the Ministry of Culture, likely with a little help from the UFO troop operated from the U.S. or at least money from the U.S. Yes, Benny. Benny does not like that. Benny is not a fan of the cover up. We've got bodies, y'all, and we shouldn't be covering this stuff up. Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's really unhappy about that. He does not like that at all. All right, well, it looks like my wife is off to a baby shower. I'm going to have to babysit Ben, and I've been going for about 3 hours, a little over 3 hours. So I think I'll leave you to it, guys. But thank you so much for joining me for this fascinating, kind of historic, really. We have alien body science being presented before the president of Peru. That's huge. If nothing else, and the president, Benny agrees, that's huge. And the president of Peru wants to continue the science, which is very encouraging. So huge. We got the Nazca mummies being studied and presented in Mexican Congress and now in the Peruvian Congress. Why not the American Congress next, right? I think that's a good way to end it. Okay, all right. Love you guys, and I will see y'all guys next time. Thank you all for your great comments. And all right, later, guys.